morning. Welcome. Thanks for joining us online. If you'd like to, feel free to put your name in the chat bar and say hi to your fellow worshipers this morning. We have a brief service before our annual meeting, and I'd like to begin with some words from Laura Wallace. She writes, "As frozen earth holds the determined seed, this sacred space holds our weariness, our worry, our laughter, and our celebration. Let us bring seed and soul to the light of thought, the warmth of community, and the hope of love. Let us see together, hear together, love together, and worship together."
This morning, we, like many Unitarian Universalist congregations across both our country and our world, will light a chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism. A chalice to represent the offering of a healing drink to others, and a flame to represent a spirit of helpfulness and sacrifice. As Allison lights our chalice here in the sanctuary, I invite you to light a chalice or candle of your own, and to keep your chalice lit throughout today's congregational meeting. Let us speak together wherever we are, our chalice lighting words. We light this chalice for the light of truth. We light this chalice for the warmth of love. We light this chalice for the energy of action. We light this chalice for the harmony of peace. Thank you, Allison. From its beginning, the flaming chalice was a symbol of service and of action, a symbol of the collective care we as UUs hold for each other and for our world. It takes all of us, each of us, to do the work of this congregation. Our covenant reminds us of the ways in which we have agreed to engage in this work together. Let us now speak together the words of that covenant. The spirit of this church is love, and service is its law. This is our covenant with each other, to dwell together in peace, to search for truth and love, and to help one another.
What does it mean to belong? Does belonging require giving up our individuality? Or does true belonging mean that we are welcomed into community just as we are? Our story for all ages this morning teaches us that everyone brings something valuable to the table, that our true selves are worthy of celebration, and that together we can accomplish great, seemingly impossible things. A brief note before we begin. The first few pages of the story have no words, so keep an eye on the black cat. Unstoppable. Written by Adam Rex, illustrated by Laura Park. Click, 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 click. Ah! Whew. Oh, if only I might escape this life of muddy scuttling and fly, to soar, happy and carefree. Oh man, are you joking? Do I look carefree? I almost got eaten by a cat. I just wish I could fly, that's all. And I wish I could pinch that cat on the nose with big snapping claws. I have claws. I can fly. Crab bird, bird rab. Unstoppable. Whoa boy, life is perfect now. Yes, perfect. Except what? It's nothing. No, man, tell me. Well, I've always been a little envious of ducks. Who hasn't? They can fly and swim. Hey, can we talk to you about something? Unstoppable! Crabbertle bird, bird-rabertle, crab turd. We've done it, my friends. Now nothing can stand in our... Whoa! What was that guy's problem? Should we go back and pinch him? I think perhaps we ought not to. Hey! A cat is one thing, but a bear? We should just fly away. No way. I'm going in. Hey, man. Steve. Hey, Steve. I don't know what you're so angry about, but I think maybe it's because you wish you could be a part of this incredible thing we've got going on. I think maybe you're lonely. I think maybe you could use some friends. Unstoppable! Bird-rabertle bear, crabber-bear bird, tur-bear-bur crab. Steve! What are those yellow things? You haven't heard? They're digging up the lakefront and building a shopping mall. Coming soon, a new experience in lakeside shopping. But it's our home. My friends, we are lost. I know of no animal who can stop. I have an idea. The president. I understand the problem, and I want to help, but I cannot. What? But you're the Queen of America. No, I am the president. You need a new law to protect your home, and the president doesn't make the law. That's the job of Congress. Who's Congress? Unstoppable! Stop. Congress is called to order. All in favor of making this lakefront a protected park for all the animals forever. Aye. 520 ayes later. Nay. The ayes have it! Hooray! And people say, if the night is clear and your heart is true, you can still see Congress bird-rabertle bear flying over this great land, passing laws and pinching the noses that need to be pinched. Our national bird is an eagle because it's easier to draw. Good night, children.
It takes a whole village to raise our children. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We all, everyone, must share the burden. We all, everyone, will share the joy. It takes a whole village to raise our children. It takes a whole village to raise one child. We all, everyone, must share
many of us here find a sense of real community and belonging in a congregation like this. And it's something that I don't take for granted. And in a certain way, welcome home. Welcome home if you've come from near or far virtually. If you have questions or if you're still looking for something, welcome home. If you sometimes lose yourself either contemplating the universe or the intricacies of a flower, welcome home. If you've experienced joy or if you've ever been hurt, if you've been a Unitarian your whole life or are brand new or like joining us but don't consider yourself a Unitarian Universalist, welcome home. The world is a big place and it's easy to get lost. The good news is that it's also a good place to get found. It's easy to get lost because it's a complicated world, and our relationship with the world is sometimes like Facebook used to be when they'd have that little relationship status bar where you'd say like married, single, but then they also had this one that just said, it's complicated. Yeah, it's complicated sometimes. And that's true for millions of people. So many have questions and struggles in the world with life itself, and in the midst of this, there's a lot to be grateful for. At the same time, I'm painfully aware of the things that I didn't get to choose, and the things that I might have preferred to be otherwise. And in general, there's a lot that we don't get to choose, like we don't choose what part of the world we're born into, or our family of origin. So much we know and love, but when things get rough, it gets complicated. And yet, no matter how broken or troubled things seem, we're not alone. And we don't need to be in a perfect world to feel a sense of support and belonging. We might be Buddhists, theists, humanists, pantheists, agnostics, and all flavors of Unitarian Universalist. We've got principles and sources and social action and history, and part of this is an emphasis on right actions over right beliefs. In the words of Francis David, we not need to think alike in order to love alike. This religious freedom combined with social responsibility is a powerful combination. It inspires not only ethical action, but a real feeling of belonging. Well, let me qualify this, because belonging's, there is sometimes a notion of ownership, like whose phone is that? Oh, that phone belongs to me, or to have something. But I mean it more in terms of relationship, and actually, what I'm thinking of sometimes is the word Geborgenheit. Geborgenheit, what the heck is that? Well, Geborgenheit is a wonderful German word for which there is no direct English equivalent. It is such a good word that it won a prize. A couple years ago, the word Geborgenheit was voted the second most beautiful word in the entire German language. According to one authority, Google, Geborgenheit describes a state of security and well-being. Geborgenheit is more than just security, protection, and invulnerability. Geborgenheit also symbolizes closeness, warmth, tranquility, and peace. The expression is generally accepted as untranslatable, although it exists also in Dutch and Afrikaans. There's no direct equivalence in English, French, or Russian. And belonging might be a tricky word, but I think if we think of it as a theological concept, there's something in this that'll help us a little bit. Now, the previous definition stated that is primarily something related to well-being. And there are other creative definitions as well. For example, the following. Was ist Geborgenheit? Geborgenheit sind zwei offene Arme, die einen umschließen und in denen man sich sicher fühlt, aber nicht eingeengt. Let me try that one again. So the English version of that would be, what is Geborgenheit? It's two open arms that wrap around one in a way that you feel safe, but not constricted. In this sense, Geborgenheit is the perfect hug. To be held in community, to be held by the spirit of life, to be held in our wonder and awe, in our interconnectedness, in the divine that moves in the world, to be held by our values and each other. It's a big cosmic hug. Corny but true. Now, I was born in New England, and I'm a big fan of the place, but one thing we're not known for is being good huggers. And yet, I know a lot of people who are nevertheless good at getting this right. Well, you might be asking, is there even a right way to hug, or is there any skill involved? And to this I would answer actually yes, and I'll offer two examples. I once was at one of these, I was at a festival that had a booth I was not expecting. In the middle of a giant festival, there was one booth, and over the top it said, Hugging Cafe. And they went all out. They had a full menu on the wall of different hugs, and they had different prices, and each one you had to pay for in compliments to the barkeeper. And some of them were really quite comical. They had polite and flimsy, the heartfelt but a little too long and ultimately awkward. They had the lumberjack, the tragic, and the list went on. And what was really fun was seeing strangers enter into this bar, order a hug, and leave as friends. That there was a lot of awkwardness, but also a lot of joy and playfulness as they navigated together what kinds of hugs felt good. The second example I offer is the ministry of Amma, the Hindu spiritual teacher and leader known as the Hugging Saint. Her primary ministry is the hug, and thousands of people wait in line for hours for a hug. Some talk about it as a transformative experience of being held and freed at the same time. Perhaps it's a remembrance of a mother's embrace as an infant, of being in a relationship with something bigger than ourselves, on which we are dependent and also sustained. This physical gesture can be a symbolic act for our relationship to the universe in general, of being held and sustained by something bigger than our own egos. When we try to name such things, we seek bigger words for it, sometimes the divine. In this sense, religion offers us a space of reflection and connection with the larger universe and our deeper selves. And although this may be stretching the analogy a little bit, I would say different religious communities offer different kinds of hugs. And that different religious seekers prefer different ways of being held, some tighter than others. Now, some may want to dispute this claim, but Unitarians are cat people. I mean, how many of you have had experiences with cats or have had cats as pets? Okay, you with me so far? How much do cats like to be held? Well, it's not so easy to say, right? Most of them like it, but only on their terms when they want it. If they feel like they're being hugged too tightly, they run away or the claws come out. Cats really value their freedom and independence, and so do we, to the extent that we object whenever we feel constricted. This doesn't mean we don't like being hugged or even crave it at times, but we can be a little picky about it. And so we've spent hundreds of years as liberal religious communities trying to find the perfect hug. Dogmas are too tight, others too light, but this congregation might have it dialed in just about right. We want to be held in something greater than ourselves. To not be held at all is to be lonely and lost. But to be held too tightly is to be suffocated. Let us practice our embrace of the world, holding it and each other in our care and being held in return. This connection, this belonging in the universe nourishes us and reminds us of our place in the world. This is part of what it means to be religious. It reminds us of our interconnectedness, our desire for right action, and the ability to be good to each other, living out our highest values in community. May this cosmic hug remind you that you are loved, and you are part of a grand existence that is more than we can even imagine. Welcome home.
I invite you to join in singing loud and proud, wherever you are, whomever you're with, in hymn number 131, Love Will Guide Us, hymn number 131. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night. If you cannot sing like angels, if you cannot speak before thousands, you can give from deep within you. You can change the world with your love. Love will guide us, peace has tried us, hope inside us will lead the way on the road from greed to giving. Love will guide us through the hard night.
As we transition from a time of worship into our annual meeting, take this sense of belonging with you. In the words of Andrew Bakula, as you prepare to leave this sacred space of worship, keep this church in your heart. Wrap it carefully like a precious gem. Carry it with you through the joys and sorrows of your days. Let its gentle glow strengthen you, warm you, remind you of all that is good and true. Until we gather again here in this place of love, go in peace.